Alright guys, it isn't very often that I watch IGN. I used to watch them back in the day, but you know, found other sources. But they still get exclusive gameplay benefits sometimes, so sometimes you want early gameplay for certain things, you have to go through them. And here we're going to have to go through them to get this interview, since they're interviewing the developers of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Are they talking about costume customization? Because if they are, I think that's new to the Tenkaichi series. If not, well, we're just going to have to see. So, let's check it out.
Dragon Ball fans are counting down the days to the release of Sparking Zero, and last night we got a break.
I think it's 46 days now, right?
It is only 50 days away, but I guess that's 49 now. Here to answer some of our burning questions about Sparking Zero is the game's producer, Jun.
Might be 46 now. Could be wrong.
Translating. Welcome. People are really excited for this game. People are extremely hyped for it. The new trailer looks awesome. There's one specific shot that I want to call out that people have a lot of questions about. There's a bit where Mr. Satan, or Hercule, is running away from what appears to be Vegeta in his giant Uzuru ape form. How does that fit into the gameplay? Because I feel like the rest of the battles are pretty straightforward. It looks like a fight in Dragon Ball. We get it. This is kind of one-sided. Where just, I guess, some context, both in terms of maybe story or maybe gameplay.
You know, this dude could have played the old... No, I'll never say that. This is just shit that we already know. You know, we already been through this in the early 2000s. This ain't nothing new right here.
別のトレーナーの別の部分はファイトとかそういうのは分かるんですけど、これはちょっと何ですかって、ストーリーとかゲームプレイに関してこれはどうやってゲームのね入っていますか。
We gotta wait for the translator. Let me speed this up a little bit.
ワンシーンを切り取った映像にはなっています。かなりサタンなんかは空を飛べないキャラクター、武空術ができないキャラクターになっているので、地面をこのように走るような形で動くことができるキャラクターになっています。それを奥から大猿が接近して攻撃を畳みかけているっていうワンシーンをちょっと切り取ったシーンになりますので、
Hurry up and get someplace.
こういうちょっとリアルに逃げ回ってるシーンみたいなことがリアルタイムに起こりうるものとしてこちら。
Characters aren't balanced on this game, by the way. Characters have like, you know, power level sort of matter in this game to a certain extent.
I think running's probably a good solution in that scenario. The other thing that people have really latched onto is there's a brief glimpse of Goku wearing his Yard Rat outfit, which I think people are really excited about the prospect of character customization, different outfits. It's already a massive roster.
Well, we already know it's gonna have costumes, but custom customization is something different. Because he had that on the old games, the Yard Rat fit.
そうですね、結構僕のこの衣装とかってその原作のストーリーの中でもやっぱり出てきていた衣装だったりもするので、
Bardock looks pretty good.
お客さんの方でもこのような衣装の状態で戦っていただき遊んでいただけるような形で実装させていただきます。
We didn't get a Bardock trailer yet, did we? What the fuck? This is the first time seeing Bardock?
登場した衣装で遊んでいただけるようなものはございます。
So basically, I mean, this is a scene from the story. This is an outfit that was in the story, and as we're trying to revive the story as much as possible, there will be multiple costumes for multiple characters. We cannot go too much into the details right now. We're sorry about that, but certain characters will have multiple costumes to choose from.
Like the old games, there's nothing new.
There's some iconic ones. I want the Piccolo in the Post Boy shirt when he's doing the driving test. Now it's been a long time.
That might not make the game.
A lot has changed since then. A big thing is obviously the fighting game community, competitive esports. Can you talk a little bit about how sort of that change has influenced Sparking Zero?
The Dragon Ball FighterZ graphics definitely influenced it. But you know, like Dragon Ball FighterZ wasn't the first Dragon Ball game to really look like the anime. The Tenkaichi series did that with Raging Blast 1. Like, that shit really, it still holds up to a certain extent to this day. I'd even say some of the facial animations on Raging Blast 1 are better than Sparking Zero. But that's because Raging Blast, they stick to like the original character designs. This game's trying to look like Shintani, like I said before. That's why like people think like these characters are off model and the game is ugly. Right? People think like it's uglier than Fighters, which there's I don't want to insult the game, but let's just say, yeah, it doesn't look as great as Fighters. It still looks great, but this is sort of done on purpose, I think, because I think they're trying to make it like a Shintani-esque kind of style. Obviously, we're not going to have the crazy inking effect, but in terms of bodily proportions, I think that's what they're going for. So some of the characters aren't going to look the same, you know? Like even King Cold, he have him on the freaking Android Saga, right? Fighting against Future Trunks, but he has his Dragon Ball Super Broly colors. We saw it in the last trailer, so it's some weird shit. But it's definitely a design choice. I don't think it's like, you know, shitty like game design or anything like that. Like Broly's neck on Xenoverse. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. I'll forever complain about that. Broly's neck on Xenoverse. Then Battle of Z, Broly was just aged 20 years, period. He looked like an old man. To wait for this translation to finish. Even if we don't get GT characters on base roster, if they play their cards right, it's still gonna be like, it still has the possibility to be bigger than Tenkaichi 3 base roster. I'm not sure. They haven't introduced any OG Dragon Ball characters. That's what's gonna fuck them over. But GT, like, there's more super characters than there are GT characters. That's why I say that. There's a chance that even though GT's not here, it has to. I don't know. I have to count the characters. I didn't count the characters, so I really don't know how many's been revealed yet. I guess once I see that grid again, I'll actually have to take the time out to freaking count. But, you know, like I said, Super is more than GT, so I'm expecting it to be almost as big, if not bigger. But if not, then, because I saw Kid Goku on one of the trailers. You know, I don't think they meant to like showcase him, but I did see him. So we know like OG Dragon Ball characters are being worked on, if not, you know, base. They have to be base roster. It has to be.
So first part of the answer. I mean,
I hope they don't hold back. Just put like. I hope they don't just put like Kid Goku, King Piccolo, Grandpa Gohan, and peel off and call it a day. Like put Kid Krillin. Really go that extra mile, you know. Young Yamcha with the sword, like really commit to the shit, you know.
I mean, there are other Dragon Ball games where they have a like very good balancing that is important, and for esports to have like characters that are well balanced so that everybody has the same chance. But this game is more.
I don't know if anyone wants to play as Major
So
Metallatron.
this game, you know, strong characters are stronger, and you can play very strong, and characters that are weaker in the story are also weaker, and you can enjoy gameplay where you struggle a little more and it's a little more challenging.
Yep.
So the focus is different. It's not really balancing and having a fair esports fight, but more about, you know, being the character and being in the story.
Yeah. So Dragon Ball Simulator. Even more so than Xenoverse, I want to say, possibly. Know what I'm gonna love about this game? See, when I'm playing Xenoverse and I charge up a Super Kamehameha, someone's gonna go up behind me and just break my fucking back, just stamina break. On this game, no, it's like a cutscene, can't be stopped. Once I press the button, you either dodge it or you deflect it or you get fucked for it. You know, like. I mean, I know it feels like it's more realistic for, like, you know, to get stopped while doing a large Kamehameha like that, charging. Like, that's what a character in the anime would do. If Goku's taking out on a charge or Kamehameha, they would go behind him and just, like, stop him from doing that. So I will give Xenoverse props for that. But as someone who, like, plays fighting games, that shit is fucking annoying. Let's say you play a Dragon Ball Fighters, right? And let's say you're doing Super Saiyan Goku's level 3 and he goes Super Saiyan 3. Imagine you go Super Saiyan 3 while you transform, but during that animation, someone did Z-Vanish and kicked you from behind and stopped the attack from coming out mid-animation. Would that be funny? Charging a Spirit Bomb, someone just Z-vanishes and kicks you. Like, what the fuck are you going to do? You just wasted 3 bars. Like, that's why I didn't like, that's what I didn't like about Xenoverse, you know? We're not going to have to worry about that with Sparking Zero anymore, so that's pretty cool.
So on top of that, there's like a point system or cost system for each character. So for example, strong characters have a higher cost, and
oh, they're doing a ratio system?
This is a team game.
That was optional in Tenkaichi 3, but it looks like it's mandatory on this game. It was like a separate mode on Tenkaichi 3. So they're making it like a permanent thing. Alright. Look at that, Super Broly colors.
And what's something new that might surprise them just in terms of how it plays?
When
are we gonna get a rated M Dragon Ball game where we get to see motherfuckers get stabbed and blood come out and shit? We already know we're not going to see that special beam cannon hole. Oh shit. Game looks way better than when it was first revealed. Go back and watch that first reveal. Shit looks a world of a lot better. Cell, they took their time with the perfect Cell model, man. They really did.
So of course this is an old IP, and the last game is 17 years old, so a lot of change there. But as this is a part of a series, we're very focused on making sure that the experience is the same. So we have a quite similar battle system, and whoever
Okay.
played the old games
Obviously.
will be able to control it and have a similar feeling of fighting. And
This is like a hybrid between Tenkaichi and Rage and Blast, so
like you counter timing.
this could, like I said, this has the potential to be the
A lot
best.
of new stuff to make it more Dragon Ball, let's say. So there are some real-time actions like now while you're attacked, you can revenge counter. This is a new system, or you can like warp or like vanish assault, we call it, like when you immediately teleport to the enemy and then can attack and stuff like that. So we increased things that we know from the Dragon Ball universe that weren't in the previous game to make it more accessible and a better experience.
Awesome. Well, I'm dying to find out more. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is out October 11th on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
That was pretty cool.
Lots more Gamescom Studio coming up live on IGN, so stick around.
Alright, so I'm not gonna lie, that interview really didn't tell us anything that we really didn't know, but it's nice to see where their head's at, you know? Like I said, these are really trustworthy developers. They know what the stakes are. They can't afford to pull another Jump Force. They can't afford to make another One Punch Man. They can't afford to bullshit us anymore, right? This is some serious shit. So they had to study the old games, and that's what they did, because I feel like if they tried to make their own idea of a Dragon Ball game from scratch, we probably would have been in trouble, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we probably would have got another fucking Jump Force or some shit. They never had issues with making game graphics other than with Jump Force. Like, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, sort of reminds me of One Piece Burning Blood. One Piece Burning Blood, that game could have lasted longer, in my opinion. That was a good game all around. The fact that it didn't get a sequel was fucking crazy to me. Like, that was Spike Chunsoul, like, they were actually cooking with that. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's a potential IP that could have stand toe-to-toe with Tenkaichi, in my opinion. All they gotta do is speed up the gameplay, and the game's gonna be good. Like, it's a good game. I don't know why the fuck they dropped the ball with that, but that's a conversation for another day, though. They know what they're doing. Instead of taking away from us, they're adding, so we're getting new systems. And they obviously played Rage and Blast, because there's Rage and Blast systems in this game. You couldn't deflect a Kamehameha in Tenkaichi. That was a Rage and Blast function. Now, and this game is not as flashy as Rage and Blast, though. Like, a Rage and Blast, when you deflected a beam, the whole camera angle changed, and it turned into a little mini cutscene. Shows the character, like, pushing it back and exploding it, but what's good about this game, even though it doesn't have the dynamic camera angles for the blast deflection, the characters have different actions. Because on the old Rage and Blast games, I noticed that all the characters just slap the blast away, right? But I noticed that Frieza kicked the blast away. Sort of like how he did with Vegeta's energy blast. So, that was pretty good. There's good attention to detail. So, I'm looking forward to this game. Oh, man. I have a feeling that Dragon Ball The Breakers isn't a bad game. But I just don't see any, like, I just don't think it's worth my money. You know? And I knew a game worth my money was going to come out. And, 2 months. Less than 2 months, actually. 46 days now, right? So, that's like a month and a week, really. So, it's almost time to ball. Alright. Peace.